Clara Barton stood up for what she believed in and changed the world because of it. Proving people wrong was her specialty, and doing whatever it takes to help people was her nature. One time in Clara's childhood, her brother David became ill, and the doctors prescribed a common cure of the time, bloodletting. Clara stayed by his side day and night and learned to care for him. Once David finally became well again, Clara realized that she loved to nurse and take care of people, as this would be important in the future.
Sure.
Alright, how did Clara Barton take a stand in history?
Well, she took a stand by helping people in the battlefield. She started out by helping people in the battlefield with first aid and that kind of thing, and I think that the stand she took was that she was neutral. It didn't matter which side the soldiers were on, whether they were on the north, the south, whether they were American soldiers, whether they were foreign soldiers. She was going to help them no matter what. And I think that might have made some people a little angry, why are you helping the enemy, that kind of thing. But she just felt like it was more important to help people than to take sides in a conflict.
When the Civil War broke out, she wanted to become a soldier, but was not allowed, so she was determined to find a way to help soldiers, no matter what. One night, she went to the train station and was expecting to see a couple of friends, but instead saw all the soldiers covered in blood and suffering from the pain because there was not enough supplies. She gathered as much supplies as she could find. Yet Barton still felt as though it was not enough, so she tried to pursue the government to allow her to go onto the battlefield, which it was unheard of for a woman to go out onto the battlefield. She didn't have much luck, but she kept pushing, and finally they granted her a military pass. Each and every day she risked her life to save another. This is why she is still remembered today. After the war ended, she decided she wanted to help find all the families of the men who were missing and dead. She soon discovered that there was no official organization that did this, so she decided to start her own. In all, she and her friends brought peace to 22,000 families. After this, she went on lecture tours with famous authors such as Mark Twain, and doing this work exhausted her so much that the doctor told her to go rest, so she went to England. While in England, a physician came and saw her and knew all about her and told her all about the Red Cross. Claire was very interested in the Red Cross and listened to the physician very closely. Although still recovering, Barton went to volunteer making bandages because the war between France and Persia broke out. Barton still felt as though she would be more useful up on front on the battlefield, so she went and helped on the battlefield. She did not care what side they were on, she would just help them either way, and many people criticized her because of this. Although many put her down, she stood up for herself and what she believed in. She became ill and exhausted once again, and she returned to the U.S. Claire was so weak she couldn't even get out of bed, and through these hardships, she never forgot about the Red Cross. The president of the International Red Cross, Gustave Manier, sent Clara Barton a letter to give personally to Rutherford B. Hayes, President of the United States at the time. She was charged with such an important mission, she found the strength to go and talk to the president. At the meeting, Hayes took her letter and told her it was an amazing idea but had to be seen by another important official. After not getting answers for weeks, Clara was determined to find answers. She finally found someone to tell her what was actually going on and was devastated by the news. The man told her that the U.S. had already had a chance of signing the Treaty of Guinevere, which was how a country got into the Red Cross, and they didn't want to sign it in risk of England messing with the government. Determined to find a way to help people, Clara came up with the idea of the American National Red Cross Society. The organization was modeled after the Red Cross in Europe, but one difference was that the American National Red Cross Society helped with disaster relief. The organization was timed just right because a massive forest fire broke out in Michigan and they were all there to help. This is another way she took a stand because although people told her it could not be done, she did it. After this happened, Clara Barton was in Washington, D.C. speaking with the President, Justin Allen Arthur. Her plan to prove that the U.S. needed the Red Cross worked, and the President was going to sign the Treaty of Guinevere. On May 21, 1881, America has officially became a branch of the International Red Cross. In the first years, they were very busy. Clara was the head president of the American Red Cross. They helped with many natural disaster relief, such as flood victims, tornado survivors, and provided support for earthquake victims. Clara Barton made her reputation in American history during the Civil War, but also was active in the Spanish-American War. Before the war started, she aided Cubans who were injured or ill during the Cuban insurrection. After war broke out between Spain and America, Barton set up the Red Cross stations throughout Cuba that not only helped Americans, but Cubans as well. People criticized her for this, and she stood up to them for the for the Red Cross and herself. At age 77, she tended to the needs of American soldiers on the battlefields and behind the line.
Did the Red Cross struggle when it was starting out?
Well, I'm sure it probably did, yeah. You know, trying to get particularly other women to go on the battlefield was probably difficult. Not to say that there weren't a lot of brave souls that
Yeah.
would do it, but I'm sure that was hard. And then, you know, she started as a volunteer of one, and so that would be hard to get materials and supplies and enough help, because I'm sure there were a lot of people in that battlefield that she had to walk away from just because there wasn't enough of her.
Okay. What things did Clara Barton or the Red Cross have to overcome to be so successful as they are today?
Well, I mean, again, the neutrality piece,
Yes.
and I think she probably had to overcome being a female in the battlefield.
Yes, that's definitely, especially.
Yeah. I mean, today, the Red Cross still has to overcome things, not so much on the battlefield anymore, that's maybe more overseas with the International Red Cross, but we do have to overcome, again, with neutrality, humanitarianism, that's one of our core principles, and we help people no matter what, you know.
What do you think America would be like without the Red Cross?
Well, obviously, I think in times of disaster, it would be hard. America would be hard pressed to find people to volunteer to step up and help.
Clara Barton served as president of the Red Cross until 1904, when she decided to resign and let someone else take over so the Red Cross could grow and continue to help more people in a modern way. After the Red Cross, Clara lived in her home at Glen Echo, Maryland until she died on April 13, 1912. The legacy Clara Barton left will never be forgotten, and her ability to stand up for herself and what she believed in and always find a way to help people will forever be remembered. The Red Cross thrives now, and if there is a disaster, you could count on them to be there. Without Barton's extreme courage, that would have never happened. An amazing organization changes lives all because someone took a stand and changed history just by trying to help others.